following the presidential election.
Well, I think there's probably been some element of voter suppression, whether it's intentional or not. We'll see at the end. But there's still time. There's still time between now and January 5th for Georgia voters to get out there and cast their vote in the Senate runoff. They should have confidence in the systems. They've been counted and recounted again from the general, and the outcomes were consistent. So we know that there's no sort of, again, malicious algorithm. You've got to have confidence in the process. If you're worried about fraud or whatever, look at the signature verification process. Despite the claims of everyone else out there, the signature verification processes in place in Georgia are stronger now than they've ever been. Have confidence in the vote.
Director Krebs, it's Willie Geist. Good to see you on this morning. I want to ask you about the Russian cyber attack in just a moment, but while we're on the question of the presidential election, you came out pretty clearly and said, very clearly, and said this was the safest election, most secure election in American history. There are a lot of people in this country over the last 4 or 5 years, particularly Republicans on the side of President Trump, who have found it very difficult to come out and tell the truth because they're worried about the cost of telling the truth. They might get a mean tweet, they might lose their job, they might lose their seat close to power in Washington. So can you talk about your decision just to step forward, knowing that what was going to happen was going to happen, that you were going to be relieved of your command? What did it take for you to come out and do that?
Look, I wasn't in the job for any sort of political accolades or higher office or anything like that. I came in to serve the country, to be a public servant, and when you come into these jobs as a federal official, you pledge an oath to defend and uphold the Constitution. And that's what, I did. That's what, putting country over party. And I told my team at CISA time and time again, you guys just do your job. Do the security aspect. Don't worry about the politics. I'll take care of that. And yeah, there were consequences, but as I've said a bunch of times, I do it over and over and over again.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be an act of courage to go out and do your job, but it is in this case, and you did it. So let's talk about that Russian cyber attack. First of all, do you believe it was Russia that infiltrated the United States government agencies and all these private companies?
I do, based on what I've heard and the folks I've talked to, and I certainly don't see any evidence to the contrary that it would be someone else. This has all the hallmarks of a very sophisticated Russian Foreign Intelligence Service operation, and it's going to take some time to get to the bottom of this one to really figure out the extent of the compromise, where they are, and then rooting them out.
And you've said, yes, this happened on our watch. Yes, we missed this. This dates back to March based on what we know so far. So how did an attack this big go undetected for so long?
Well, to my point that I made on Sunday on another show, maybe it's something that's rare in D.C. these days to actually, acknowledge responsibility for something and instead of blaming it on fake news or whatever. But look, I think you've got to start from a position of accepting what happened before you can really fix it. And so what happened here, though, was, again, a very sophisticated, patient, careful, deliberate, capable actor was able to compromise a very widely used commercial product that then allowed them to sneak in via a trusted path into federal agencies. Now, I think as we investigate over time, what we'll find is that it was a human-powered operation by the Russians, and they don't have an endless supply of cyber experts that could exploit their access. And we may find that it's not as deep or as broad as we initially thought. But the key is, and particularly for President-elect Biden and his team, is to really get your arms around, first and foremost, the federal cyber mission space and provide them the resources and authorities and the ability to go out and hunt. My old team, give them the ability to really hunt across civilian agencies and root out the Russians. That's going to be job one.